You know how there are certain things, maybe certain people, certain foods, certain songs, these things in the world that can just instantly make you feel good, immediately put you in a better mood, maybe pull you up if you're feeling down, or just simply relax you. Well, today I'm going to tell you about a place that has this power, at least for me. This place is on the southeast corner of Sicily, and it's a place called Siracusa. Siracusa, where do we begin? Well, we must start at a long time ago, an extremely long time ago, because as some of you know, and I'm sure some of you don't, Siracusa is one of the oldest cities in the world, as old as Rome and Athens, and is among the very earliest urban settlements in Europe. Settlers from Corinth, Greece popped over to Siracusa in the 8th century BC and started things up, and a couple hundred years into the settlement, they built this. The Teatro Greco in Siracusa was built in the 5th century BC, making it over 2,400 years old. The theater was originally carved into the limestone rock of the Temenent Hill, and some of the earliest known plays by famous playwrights such as Aeschylus and Sophocles were performed there. Oedipus Rex, Medea, and the Persians are some of the plays that took place way back then. And what's really cool is that now, thousands of years later, you can visit this theater, gather in the same place, sit on the same stones, and watch some of the same Greek and Roman tragedies from the days of their conception, in the place where they were conceived. I've been lucky enough to see a couple shows there over the past couple of years, but my experience can't compare to Francesco's, who had the privilege of performing there, on that same stage, years back when he was part of the Siracusa Acting Academy, INDA Foundation, and this was his first time back here since his last performance in 2016.
Frank, how does it feel to be, back here where you said you've performed hundreds of times here, yeah?
Yeah, 245 days maybe, something like this.
Wow.
My feeling now it's like a return at home when I see again the stage. My feeling when I see the first time this stage, I'm scared, really scared, because you have in front of you 8,000 people. The first step here in this theater, you have just a heart problem, I don't know.
You have a heart attack.
Heart attack, exactly.
Yeah. You're freaking out.
Yeah, you're freaking out. It's, I think, one of the most important theater, yes, but one of the most dangerous theater for an actor. A lot of actors that arrive here crying because they doesn't know how to use this stage, because it's like a big hole that wanna crash you.
It must be an amazing energy, yeah?
Yeah, inside, in that stage, you can't breathe. I don't know how to explain better.
This is the kind of place where anyone, regardless of the relationship to theater, to acting, to Sicily, can very strongly feel the history and the energy that is present here. And it's incredible that somehow while exploring and experiencing a place like this, your mind is able to tap into 3,000 years of civilizations, of people, art, performance, and you can just imagine every human who stepped foot on these trails, how each one of them had their own story, their own hopes and fears and dramas. That's the power in a place like this. And as we toured around the archaeological park, we found that just down the road from Teatro Greco was another amazing piece of human history.
So just over here we have a Greek theater, an ancient Greek theater. And then, a couple hundred years go by, the Romans show up, and they want their own thing too, so they build a Colosseum right around the corner.
And also you have to think that the Romans take a lot of stones from the Greek theater for make this one.
So we're gonna take your stones, we're gonna do our own things.
Just a couple hundred meters away are the ruins of a Roman amphitheater, which was constructed in the 3rd century AD. We learned that this amphitheater, similarly to the Roman Colosseum, was the home to gladiator fights and wild animal hunts that would take place in front of over 15,000 spectators.
So what kind of entertainment did they have in here, Frank?
A lot. So you have gladiators.
The gladiator fights, huh?
Yeah, and also you have animals fight.
Yeah.
You have man against animals also.
Looking here, I get very, it makes me wanna. Throw you over!
What do you think, guys? Do I need some acting school? Do I need some lessons? Well, lucky for us, that's exactly where we were headed to next. The Istituto Nazionale del Dramma Antico, or INDA Acting Academy in Siracusa, is where Francesco studied acting on the island of Ortigia. Remember from earlier? This is the place. INDA was founded in 1913 by archaeologist and art historian Mario Tommaso Gargallo, with its primary aim to revive the ancient tradition of Greek theater in the historical and cultural context of Siracusa. It is now a world-renowned acting academy and foundation for Greek and Roman theater performances, with visitors from all over the world attending their shows every summer. We met with Frank's professors Attilio Lerna, Elena Pole Greco, and Simonetta Carscia.
Lentissima, parola per prendere il portafoglio lo buttava a terra, tanto sbaglia.
And I was curious to get a real look at what happens in this type of school.
We're gonna do some acting here, singing.
Yep.
What are we gonna do?
Everything, man.
Want to see what you guys got?
Okay, saliamo.
So we all headed back to a studio for a lesson with one of the new batches of students. Sitting in on this class was really a special time. It was my first experience seeing this type of thing in person in this context. It was very moving how serious the students took everything, yet how fun and freeing it seemed to be.
Ma per trattartene bene, chi ti trovai? Dirò delle altre cose, chi non scopre. Ed ecco, ho certo bisogno che la che l'aria mi premesse. e giunge il tempo che perderlo faccia, e quando vidi costui nel gran deserto.
I've never personally had an inkling towards acting, and my experience with actors is mainly in casting my own films and directing actors. But watching these guys study and work on their craft was truly inspiring, and it gave me a really good insight into the process.
Yeah, I want a real dramatic face, okay? No smile, I want drama face.
Drama face.
Intensity.
It's already done.
Was it nice to see your professors and go back to the academy there?
Yeah, return again to the academy. And for an actor, return to academy, it is incredible for me. I remind a lot of things. I see again a lot of people, and I'm so happy to stay here. This is an incredible moment for my life.
You know, going and seeing young people, you know, that are passionate about the arts and acting, and you know, it was very inspiring. I was moved.
We are very lucky to study here. In this amazing place, you see there the sunset, and from the sea you see the sunrise, you know?
Okay, it's time for some food, it's time for dinner, it's time for cena. And sticking with our theme of actors and theater, it only made sense that we met up with one of Francesco's old classmates for dinner at one of the old academy hangouts, a restaurant called Restaurant Blue. This hip bar and restaurant is owned by Sebastiano Salerno, who's a sailboat captain who started this restaurant that specialized in modern exotic seafood dishes, like this beautiful seafood crudo antipasti, and some wildly creative and delicious pasta dishes.
Let's see, this is a real reaction.
Being Frank's friend, Sebi, also known as Zio della Notte, or Uncle of the Night, continued to serve us drinks, which led to some songs, and we concluded the evening by dancing in the streets. The next morning, we explored the heart of Siracusa, Ortigia. This little island at the eastern tip of the province is the place tourists rush to, and for good reason, because it's epically beautiful, and it's just an extremely cute city to wander around aimlessly for hours on end. Its main attraction is the daily street market. The Ortigia market in Siracusa is a lively and colorful marketplace offering a rich array of fresh produce, seafood, local cheeses, and one of the gems of this market and of this planet Earth is a sandwich shop called Caseificio Borderi. Founded in 1930 by the Borderi family, originally as a dairy and cheese-making business, it's now a magnet for tourists who gather and line up every day to taste their giant, delicious creations, with the star being the fresh, daily-made cheese, which we were able to learn all about from the young engineer turned cheesemaker, Gaetano Gangemi.
I start every day at about 2:30 a.m. Yeah, but I go to collect milk around the land of Siracusa in the afternoon, the day before. Cow milk in 4 days each week. 2 days of my work I use sheep milk to do small pieces of pecorino with pistachio, with chili, specialized for the cheese. You know, I'm a mechanical engineer. I had a degree, but my father-in-law started this work. When I watch him, I fall in love immediately. I started to study all the process, okay, and I start to study new way to make cheese. For make mozzarella, my mozzarella, I don't wait 3 hours. If you see my place, I need to work, make, sell immediately. At the moment, my mozzarella, it's very, very nice, but no good. The shelf life. Only 1 day is good for it, mozzarella.
1 day.
Yeah, 1 day. Look
The milk.
you see?
Oh wow, yeah. This was made this morning.
Maybe
2:30 in the morning.
yeah, 2
couple
hours,
hours
3
later.
hours ago.
Okay, we
Cheers.
taste. Cheers.
Nice taste.
Perfect. Wow.
Yeah. This is fresh mozzarella, right?
Amazing.
You feel what
so
the
soft.
cows ate yesterday, no?
Yeah.
It's strange.
I taste the grass.
You guys have to try this.
Yeah.
Facciamo provare right to the lens there.
Ah, guarda.
Grazie.
Buono. Vieni, lo assaggiamo di nuovo. Assaggi di nuovo, Mike.
Io sono ok.
Sì.
Io sono ok.
Ok,
Grazie.
Francesco?
Sì, sì. Round 2. Would it be annoying to try a little ricotta?
Yeah, mi
do you
stai
have?
toccando il cuore. Mi stai
You
toccando.
touch my heart.
I want to try the ricotta.
Yeah, because I am specialized in ricotta. All my studies is for ricotta because we are in Sicily. My friend,
Okay.
torch.
Grazie.
Good way, good acidity and white. Okay, no
Color.
yellow.
The
Okay,
color is important. Yeah.
you understand what kind of milk you use.
Yeah,
Okay?
me and my mother make ricotta at home in Buffalo, New York. 2 quarts of milk,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
And we use a mixture of a little white wine vinegar and lemon juice as the acid
It's perfect
to make it.
because the whey become acid and ricotta. Whoa, raise up. Without this, you don't have any ricotta. This is what we do. You must try.
Okay, here we go.
Here we are.
The moment. How's that? Oh, look at it.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
yeah. Buono, Francesco.
It's warm.
Yeah, it's I finished maybe 2 hours ago.
2 hours ago.
Francesco, let's assaggiarla.
Wow.
Yeah.
Vale?
Guys, please.
Tieni caro.
Enjoy real. It's amazing.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, my
Thank
friend.
you for showing me. This
Grazie.
place is great. I've been
When lunchtime rolls around, it's Gaetano's father-in-law Andrea Borderi's time to shine.
Ora vi insegno una cosa che si chiama questa fettina di pane, non è una fettina di pane volgarmente, questa in questo momento storico si chiama spugna.
As he regularly puts on a show of making different creative Sicilian sandwiches every day while entertaining the crowd with stories,
Questo è un panino fatto a steppe, in modo che un morso è diverso dall'altro. Sto preparando cose. Vieni signora, odora qua. Vieni. Signora, odora. Tutto quello che va in bocca prima passa sotto il naso. Oh, ma non sapeva chi sta. Vieni. Opla. Opla. No, là è. Oh, brava. La ricotta salata, ricordatevi che è l'anello del matrimonio dei sapori.
seriously though, can you believe what is happening with these sandwiches? What I think is so cool about Borderi is that you can't come here and order this sandwich. Sorry, it's just not possible. Every day, Andrea and the gang create new, insane, beautiful, mouth-watering panini using all the freshest daily vegetables, cheeses, and meats. Depending on the season and the time of year, the cows, the sheep, the farmers, it all goes into it. And how thankful are we that this is the way it's done?
Grazie Carla. Vabbè, lo stesso. Grazie Carla. Che hai comprato.
And yes, we finally got the chance to try one. I had one of those monsters you just saw being prepared, And it's worth noting that they have vegetarian options, which is what Francesco tried. Words are unnecessary to describe the taste of a sandwich like this. I'll just say, yes. Farewell for now. I'll see you again soon, Borderi. As the locals and tourists continued to peruse the market in the old town, Francesco and I followed suit and strolled the antique roads, taking in some fresh air and some ancient history. A more than satisfying and pleasant way to spend the afternoon in Ortigia. In the evening, we took a little time and stopped by the Theater of Siracusa to meet the mayor of Siracusa, Francesco Italia. I first met the mayor back in 2019 when we were shooting a film in this very theater.
Terra mia.
He gave us access to beautiful locations around the city, and he believes in the youth of Siracusa.
Authenticity is very important. We have young people, young children playing soccer in Piazza Duomo Square, which is the very heart of Ortigia, of the historical center. And you know, many people come and say, how can you allow them to play soccer in such a beautiful venue? I say, as long as I will see young children playing in Piazza Duomo, it will mean that we're still authentic. And I think that the travelers don't want to have a glance of the beauty of the place, but also they want to taste the life.
real life.
Yes. I always recommend tourists to get lost in the narrow streets of Ortigia and just don't have a proper destination. Okay? Let's get lost, forget everything, and have this amazing travel through the history.
Ciao. Grazie.
And speaking of the youth in Siracusa, on a summer night in Ortigia, if you're between the age of, say, 18 and 25, there's about a 99% chance that you were out there having fun down at the strip of outdoor bars on the port. And that night, we met up with some of our new acting friends for a quick cocktail and some laughs.
We will do different things. I don't know how much we can do. Sorry? Yeah.
So look, every once in a while, it's nice to live like a college student for an hour. But the truth is, I'm old, and I have things to do, like get sleep and learn a little bit more about this part of Sicily. The east coast of Sicily is known for many culinary treats, but many would argue their greatest treasure are almonds. The Mediterranean climate combined with Etna-rich volcanic soil provides the province of Siracusa with some of the sweetest and richest flavored almonds on earth. And on this morning in Ortigia, we had the pleasure of stopping by a small family-run gourmet cookie shop for breakfast. Amandole Marchante is run by Giuseppe Marchante and his wife Sandra, and they make a huge variety of almond cookies. And walked us through a few of the steps and how they're made.
Questa è una macchina abbastanza datata, è la classica raffinatrice. A me serve moltissimo perché in realtà macina, diciamo, la mandorla con lo zucchero, la fa diventare proprio una pasta. Ora vediamo, diciamo, in base a come ci mettiamo la mandorla, come viene effettuata questa situazione. Fa un po' di rumore. Man mano che passa dai rulli viene triturata e man mano che si stringono i rulli viene sempre pesato fino a quando diventa polvere. Naturalmente poi è miscelata con lo zucchero, l'acqua, il miele, miele di fiori d'arancia, bianco d'uovo, si mette tutto assieme, si passa sempre in quella famosa raffinatrice che abbiamo visto prima e diventa, tramite diciamo il bianco d'uovo e il miele, una pasta più morbida. Noi lo chiamiamo il sospiro, perché era proprio la classica forma di S.
I take great pleasure in watching someone with the skills, ease, and confidence that Giuseppe has when he makes cookies. It's clear that this kind man has shaped and baked countless biscotti over the years, and he makes the delicate process look simple. And another added bonus for us was getting to try actually freshly made almond milk. A first for me.
Fresh almond milk. Oh, baby.
His main use of this latte di mandorla is the almond granita, which was something we were just obligated to taste while the cookies were baking in the oven.
Ok, prova.
Yeah, that's right.
Prova. Bravo, così, ancora. Un momento.
Yeah?
Ok, ora mangia.
This is the perfect breakfast here.
Call this the perfect breakfast.
Yeah.
You get the sweetness and the cold right at the front. It's cold and almondy and nutty and delicious. And then that taste of the bread, salty bread, kind of comes in at the end, you know? Sweet and salty. It's delightful. I feel like a criminal being able to eat this for breakfast, right? How could this be legal? Vale, is this legal?
Yes.
Cheers. Almond. Mandorla. Okay. Oh my.
And because we were already breaking the law, we might as well push it to the limits
It's dangerous, right?
and try their other signature flavor, ricotta. Ricotta granita. Wow. And now, of course, it was finally cookie time.
Diamo ai nostri clienti per accompagnare i nostri dolcini di mandorla, che ora le elenco. Questo è un Eureka, è un dolce di mandorla dedicato ad Archimede, il nostro grande inventore. È una pasta brisée alla cannella che avvolge la pasta di mandorla con la marmellata di arancio tarocco. Questo invece è il classico pistacchiato, sempre pasta di mandorla con pistacchi di Bronte, la nostra mandorla di Avola della nostra provincia, quindi diciamo ha un aroma e una profumazione particolare, quindi associata ai fichi secchi, al cedro candito, all'arancio candito e alle mandorle tostate. Quindi è da gustare, da assaggiare e da berci sopra questo moscato.
Munching on a few of these pasta de mandorla is not a bad way to start the day. And according to Giuseppe, it is absolutely mandatory to eat these while sipping some sweet Marsala wine.
Yeah, cheers.
Pasta brisée.
And almond also.
And almond, as you can see.
Yeah, exactly.
Toasted. Tostato. Cheers to the chef. Grazie.
This is the theater movement.
No, mandorla.
Done.
The almond cookies that are created in Amandole Marchante are truly a work of art. But I was so pleased to learn that this is a family of artists. We learned that not only does Sandra sculpt beautiful and edible heads and eggs, but she's a painter, and her work is displayed proudly in the shop. It incorporates the stories of their work and gives everything a lovely and original touch. And it doesn't stop there. The proud couple, along with their son Ernesto, a professional singer, play songs together and serenaded us with a beautiful Sicilian send-off.
sali di cielo e mari, che unico bene sei tu, come un'onna pitruzza non fai, venite per sempre con me. Io non amo, non cerco che dia, come cori felici si fa.
Grazie.
One of the last things on the list in Siracusa was to get out there on a boat and take a cruise along the coast. Captain Tony of Ortigia Island Excursions took us out on a beautiful ride. And at this point, I think it's best to just let these images speak for themselves, while we enjoy some nice tunes from my cousin Tim, who, if you didn't know, provides almost every piece of music you've heard in every Mike Loves Sicily video.
Tony's gonna have a drink. We're gonna take a little swim break here, Frank.
Yeah.
And there's a show in America called Survivor. Okay, you ever hear of this show, Survivor?
No, I don't see never.
There's a lot of
this show.
swimming, and there's a lot of jumping in the water, okay?
Yeah, okay.
And up until very recently, I don't know how to dive, okay? I don't know how to, so I've been practicing.
Like this.
I've been practicing because I want to try out for Survivor, and if I somehow were to ever get on that show and I didn't know how to dive, it would be very embarrassing. For a test here, I want you to do something for me, okay?
Yeah.
When I say, I want you to say, Survivor's ready,
Okay.
go, and then I'm gonna jump in, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so let's cue this up here.
Okay.
Ready? So just do that. Survivor's ready!
Survivor's ready! Go!
Go!
Sicily for me, it's the sea. It's the main attraction, and I'm drawn to it constantly. What is it about the water? Is it the trance-like state when you're gliding underwater, momentarily shut off from the rest of the world? Is it being weightless and letting your body flow and move with wondrous freedom? Or is it the colors and life forms that are so elegant and perfectly mysterious? A world with unknown depths and species and creatures too vast to fully comprehend. Is it the reminder that we're just a tiny speck of life, living in the briefest instant in history, in a vast universe? Or maybe it's just moments spent with friends, with joy and laughter that seems to always accompany this aquatic activity. And I learned a very valuable lesson that day out on the sea with Tony and the guys. The lesson is that when you swim in very cold water for a long time, and it's windy on the boat trip back, you can get borderline hypothermia. And I also learned that if you drink a glass of Prosecco when you're dealing with this borderline hypothermia, things can get silly quite quickly.
If you're looking for a good time in Siracusa, anyone, which I'm sure you all are, make sure to hit up Ortigia Island Excursion, because you'll have quite the excursion. It'll be the excursion of a lifetime. That's the right company? Yep. I said it wrong before and I apologize. Tony's gonna have my ass for that one.
Yeah. Maybe.
Tony Soprano over here. Tony, the excursion man.
Ragazzi, come è andata?
Benissimo!
Tutto a posto?
Benissimo.
Ok, grazie a voi.
So I leave you with a few of the final moments in Ortigia
Say hi to us.
and say farewell for now.
The next time you're in Siracusa, make sure to give Tony a call over here at the Ortigia Island Excursions. He's gonna take you on a boat ride that's gonna change your gosh darn life, I tell you. I mean, this guy is experienced. You want experience when you're out there on the sea, because it could be a windy day. Today was a little windy, but we had Tony out there saving our ass. So,
See you real soon from Mike Loves Sicily. Peace and love to you all.